Breaking news, Tom Thibodeau has been fired by the New York Knicks. This happened just today. Let's talk about it. There's a lot to discuss. First reactions, I'm shocked. Not going to lie. I am very shocked because, number one, a report came out a few days ago saying that Thibs was safe. Now, I will admit I don't remember who made the report. I will try to find it and put a picture up here for the video. But it seemed to be a reputable source from what I understood. And I was like, okay, Thibs is safe. That makes sense. Like, yes, there were some discussions about maybe should he be fired, should he not be fired, but overall, he seems safe, and that's what I thought. Another thing that was important to me was at the end of Game 6 in the press conference, Jalen Brunson was asked about Thibs potentially being canned, if I remember correctly, and he defended Thibs. He said that that was the right guy for the job and that he wanted him to stay here and all that. And Brunson's had a good relationship with Thibs anyways. He's expressed that in other interviews as well. So I thought with the support of the franchise player and this report coming out, I thought, Thibs is at least going to be around for another year or two, but that just was not the case. So I have mixed thoughts about this. Number one, did Thibs deserve this? I have to say no. He did not deserve to be fired. Again, the Knicks made the ECF. They have not been in this position in over 25 years around that period. I can't remember the exact date. Regardless, the Knicks haven't been here in a very long time. It's been 2 decades since they've been in this position. And though it hasn't been every single year, the Knicks have slowly but surely gotten deeper in the playoffs under Thibs. They were losing in the first round. Eventually you get out of there, you lose in the second round, et cetera, et cetera. You're now losing in the ECF. And it's hard for me to say, wow, a coach that is continuing to make progress really deserves to get fired on a very black and white way of looking at this. But at the same time, when we really break this down, which I am about to do in the next point, I can understand why the Knicks front office is feeling the way that they are feeling. My concern, and you guys can go back in some of these videos of me talking about the Knicks-Pacers series, was this team right now is constructed for offense, high scoring, all that. Thibs is a defensive coach. We saw a lot of that last year with that Knicks team and how they played on those strengths. But the Cat trade, it got rid of, DiVincenzo, and it got rid of Randall. The defense went down. Cat is not a great center defensively. He gets picked on at times during the game. And same for Jalen Brunson. And I think the Knicks were wondering, wow, does the guy we have right now, does he really fit what we're trying to do as a team? And does he get the most out of this roster based off of their skills and their weaknesses? Because you would assume if Thibs is a defensive coach and he can't get the most out of guys that are struggling defensively, then who else is? I mean, if that's supposed to be your expertise, you would assume that those things would get a little bit better, but that just hasn't been the case. So I think there was a little bit maybe of a disconnect between the front office and Thibs. Again, maybe they are looking to go in more of an offensive direction, and he just didn't, I guess, adapt to that as well as they maybe would have liked. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think it out what they could have been thinking. But yeah, that's where my brain goes, at least from a scheme standpoint of basketball. Number 2, and this is where I think it started to get to Thibs. And I have to agree with the Knicks on this because this is something that's been consistent his whole career, and now you saw it specifically in this series and just throughout this entire season and previous seasons with the Knicks. This guy is scared of playing the bench. He overplays the starting 5 to the point where it can become problematic. Like, there are times where Thibs has been up, like the Knicks are up by 30 points, and it's like, midway through the fourth quarter. Why is the entire starting 5 in? Why? It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. And that's been a gripe with me with Thibs is, dude, you wonder why your guys are so gassed deep in the playoffs, or they're getting hurt like the Indiana series last year in the second round, because you're playing them too much. You're just playing them way too much to the point where it's becoming detrimental to the team. It's becoming detrimental to the team because these guys are playing borderline 48 minutes a night, and you're not trusting anyone else on the bench to show you anything. And what's crazy is he did trust some guys off the bench, but that's because he was so down bad and couldn't continue to play the starting five because there was no other option. And he did start to go to guys like Shamit. He did, go to McBride a little bit more and a couple other guys here and there. But overall, Thibs has been scared to trust young players off the bench specifically. And I think that's a big reason why that potentially got him fired, because his philosophy of just constantly just driving these starting five players into the mud to the point where they can barely play after, or they're so fatigued, I don't think that's sustainable long term. And we've seen that with a lot of teams that he's coached. So I do understand that point as well. And we really saw that exploited in the series against Indiana. Indiana, as I said, this entire postseason, and I've said it in numerous of the recaps I've done, they are a team that thrives because of, number one, Halliburton getting it going and the immense amount of just depth that this team has and guys that they can trust off the bench. They had more guys they could trust off the bench, more guys that could go at the Knicks off the bench, and it directly played into their hands that he wanted to play more of the starting five, that he didn't want to go to the bench off the bat. Like, all these things hurt the Knicks, and I just think that maybe, I don't know, maybe this matchup specifically really showed that, hey, we need to continue attacking and getting better on the bench, because right now we lack it personnel-wise, and we also have a coach that doesn't even want to go there anyways. And it's just, again, a disconnect, I think, potentially from the front office and Thibs himself. So maybe that makes a little bit more sense on why they actually made this move. To come to conclusion, again, do I think it's harsh firing this guy after losing in 6 games in the ECF? Yes. But at the same time, if there really is that big of a disconnect between his philosophy and the front offices, and again, they think that he just might not be the guy, it's better to cut your ties now. My question now for the Knicks, and Knicks fans, let me know down in the comments what you are looking for. What coach is going to come in here? There's the Grizzlies coach that was fired. There's Mike Malone from Denver. Other than that, there's really not a lot of options. So I'm curious to see what the Knicks do. But man, I wasn't even planning on making a video today, but we got some breaking news. Wasn't expecting it, but hey, we're here. We're talking about it. Let me know what you guys think down below. That's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like. If you like my type of content, feel free to subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.